Welcome back to episode 79 of the Sleeper Sports Media Podcast. June 3rd, 2025. Going to review and introduce another new style, new format, new look to the Sleeper Sports Media Podcast and review both Raw and SmackDown from this last week, starting with SmackDown May 30th, the results there for that show. And we kicked things off with Bianca Belair in Knoxville in her hometown, getting a big reaction from the hometown there. She rocks on back into Rocky Top after dealing with an injury, a brutal injury she sustained at WrestleMania there. You can see her broken finger. She was interrupted and confronted by none other than Naomi, her former best friend, tag team partner, and champion. Then Jade, we get right into the opening contest on SmackDown. Naomi, Jade Cargill, and Nia Jax for the women's Money in the Bank qualifier. Naomi would go on to win. And of course, then you had the face to face, the standoff, the stare down of Bianca, Jade, Naomi, all three of them still revolving around each other. Unspokenly, we got some sort of eye contact with Jade and Bianca, maybe pausing their storyline to continue Jade and Naomi, or while Naomi is in Money in the Bank, should she win Money in the Bank? Rightfully so, deservingly so. One of the veterans that should win versus the three up and coming rookies that just got called up to the main roster. For those two to win, Naomi does punch her ticket to Los Angeles and will be in the Money in the Bank ladder match. Jade Cargo and Nia Jax. Both Jaded and Nia Jax failed to hit their finishers, and Naomi sneaks in a roll up victory. That goes into, of course, the second match of the night, where what would be, now know, R-Truth and his final match in W. Oh, that is not the right one. Looks like these graphics are all sorts of out of whack. R-Truth would go on to face JC Mateo and would fall to him on SmackDown there. We now know that with R-Truth not choosing to re-sign the new deal presented to him by WWE, he is choosing to ride out hit the rest of his current term and current deal, and this would be his final match in the WWE. And Jimmy Uso would come out to make the save, so Sikoa was ringside as well. I had to think that between the four of them, they were going to continue this, but now who knows where Jimmy Uso is going to go, if he's going to continue kind of feuding with Solo and JC Mateo, or rejoin them and see how that would play out there. We went from JC Mateo beating R-Truth to the Wyatt Sicks taking out the entire tag team division all at one time with ease. We can add at that. We do also have so the Wyatt Sicks is back and has been back for a couple of weeks now, but still no matches given there. That we would then roll on into. This would be around whenever the Street Profits, the tag team champions, were out and about, and they were live and cutting a promo, of course. And then the entire tag team division came out and demanded and stated their case for a potential future title shot there for those tag titles. And then we had the Wyatt Sicks take out absolutely everyone in the tag team division. That would then go into a tag match of Rey Fenix and the debuting Javon Evans here, with Ethan Page, the North American champion, at ringside, assisting with commentary against Los Garza. Rey Fenix and Javon Evans are in a fatal four-way at Worlds Collide against Ethan Page and someone from AAA for his NXT North American Championship. We then, of course, went on from there with the debut of Javon Evans on SmackDown. Don't see him getting caught up just yet. Ethan Page would interfere, as you see pictured here, cost Phoenix and Evans the match, and Los Garza would pick up the win. They are also in action as Legado del Fantasma in a six-man tag match at Worlds Collide the same day as Money in the Bank. That would roll into Zelina Vega and Alba Fire which was a non-title match. Not that one, and not that one as well. There's Jaded. So, all right. There we go. Alba Fire would take on Zelina Vega. Zelina Vega was a non-title match. Zelina Vega would pick up the win. Chelsea Green tried to interfere, took out Piper Niven, and Vega hits the code red for the win. And then, of course, we roll into Damian Priest coming out to finally put the Drew McIntyre rivalry behind him, and we got what's next for Priest, and that is, of course, none other than taking on and calling out the most dominant champion right now on the roster. His words, and also mine, Jacob Fatu. Damian Priest, somewhere down the line for the United States Championship, would absolutely not mind seeing this, although I think it's too soon to potentially have Jacob Fatu drop that title and not immediately catapult him to the world title and main event title. He still has yet to be pinned in WWE, as he has made his phenomenal debut around this time last year, coming up on almost a year in WWE, has remained undefeated besides no disqualification losses or countouts or anything interference results there. That was, of course, we had that segment. Priest calling out Jacob Fatu, and told McIntyre to stay out of his, as McIntyre is at home for the foreseeable future. There, we did have Priest come out and finally put that to rest, and Priest did draw the battle lines there with Fatu, and having his eyes set on that United States Championship. This would then go into the men's Money in the Bank qualifying match. We would have Carmelo Hayes, Jacob Fatu, and Andrade. Andrade would pick up the win. Miz attempted to help Carmelo Hayes, and then we had a back and forth with those two as well. Solo, JC Mateo, and Jimmy Uso all were out there and got involved. Andrade capitalizes and picks up the win over Hayes by pinning Carmelo Hayes, and Fatu is out of the decision, protects him, and then further puts pressure on Miz and Carmelo to split. There we go. That Andrade once again qualifies and will be in another Money in the Bank match. Wouldn't mind seeing him pick up the win, although I highly doubt it at this point. Also, that rolls on into the main event of SmackDown. We had, and it's so funny that WWE has this listed as John Cena, or Cody Rhodes verbally annihilates John Cena and Logan Paul, as we see here. John Cena gives laying it into Cody and finally giving him exactly what he deserves. Cody doing the classic about to cry face, as you see there. And then eventually we would get a face-to-face, a stare down between the four guys in the main event scene, in the main event of Money in the Bank coming up this Saturday in Los Angeles. The both world champions tied up in one story. Jey Uso is being stretched between both brands, Raw and SmackDown. He's focused on helping Cody. He's focused on helping CM Punk and Sami Zayn. He's focused on being in a tag match, and then he's also somehow focused on defending his World Heavyweight Championship at Raw next week against Gunther in Arizona after Money in the Bank. Is he even going to be champion come the end of Money in the Bank? We have both world champions in the main event, which means we will already have a new Mr. Money in the Bank. How's that going to play? How's that going to affect Jey Uso? Cena and Logan Paul tagging against Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso, and it was confirmed this would be for the main event. We did see a brawl between the four of them. Cody and Jey were standing tall. Cody holding that title. Hopefully that throws on and keeps the superstition going that whenever you hold the title before a match is announced, or before your match in general, that means you are not winning that title back. So hopefully that is what we have there. And that was SmackDown. That was SmackDown from May 30th. live from Knoxville, Tennessee. We're going to roll on into Raw, but first, another news. WWE and Slim Jim have renewed their partnership and have signed a multi-year extension to keep Slim Jim the official beef stick and meat stick of the WWE. Big time seeing commercials already of Jey Uso and LA Knight in the Slim Jim commercials as they are the Slim Jim superstars, and I mean rightfully so. It just goes along with what it is that they do. This brings us to the Raw results for June 2nd, 2025, the Go Home show. Go Home edition of Raw. We had CM Punk open the show, and this brought Sami Zayn out to tell him he needs to win. He needs to win to protect us from Seth Rollins winning and turning Monday Night Raw into something they've never seen before. But we all know that this is just a carbon copy and paste of the Bloodline with Rollins at the helm. Getting him the title would eventually be the same thing. What they're saying of how Roman was holding the title hostage, that Seth is going to do the same thing. That would go on to, of course, to be the main event. And Seth Rollins, Sami Zayn, CM Punk, Jey Uso, Bronson Reed, Braun Breaker, they would all be involved tonight in the show. And I smell War Games is coming. I smell the teams don't know exactly what they're going to be yet, but they are. It's coming, and San Diego is going to be on fire. This is Raw, June 2nd, from the BOK Center in Tulsa, Oklahoma. 9,000 on hand tonight. It opened up with, of course, Pat McAfee and Michael Cole talking about the bet they made for the Pacers beating the Knicks in the Eastern Conference Finals, which would lead to Michael Cole wearing a Pacers jersey and doing the entire show in a tank top, in a basketball jersey, and showing off the guns there. Good for him. We, of course, would have a lot of action go down tonight on Raw. And my, oh my, it just did not miss from the start. Punk and Styles finally facing each other again for the first time in many, many years outside of the Royal Rumble, of course. We had Stephanie Vaquer win the Money in the Bank qualifying match in her debut as an official signee of the Raw roster. She qualifies there, beats Liv Morgan. We also would then have Liv Morgan and Finn Balor have a difficult conversation as Roxanne Perez would help Finn Balor and JD McDonough pick up a win in tag action, but of course failed to do so for Raquel Rodriguez, and as she would fall to Io Sky, and that is what led to this right here as Liv Morgan came out to interfere and help her tag partner. My guess, we're going to get Kairi Sane and Io Sky versus Liv and Raquel for the tag titles. Maybe, possibly after Money in the Bank, depending on who wins. I would say if a Raw superstar wins, they're going to cash in right away. The women's contract, of course, as we all know, is still 100%, has a 100% success rate during the cash-in. And Liv and Raquel, I mean, it's anyone's game at this point for the women's side. Of course, I would love to see Naomi take the win, but we know that that probably is not going to happen, is not going to go down that way. We, of course, then would get Becky Lynch and Lyra Valkyria in a heated back and forth, in a heated promo. Lyra telling Becky she's beaten her twice, and she's going to beat her that third time at Money in the Bank. And, of course, the stipulation is that if Becky wins, Lyra has to raise Becky's hand the way that Becky did whenever she beat her for the NXT Women's Championship. If Lyra wins and retains, Becky can never challenge for the IC title as long as she is champion. Lyra is champion there. This has been the most heated, most personal feud coming out of WrestleMania for the last 6 weeks now. Becky is elevating that title there without even holding it and bringing Lyra into a whole new level for her outright as well. We did have a tag match, as I mentioned earlier. Roxanne Perez would make her presence known and would help JD and Finn pick up a win here. Finn getting a win is surprising, I know. It's been officially 1 year since Finn Balor has won a singles match. Yes, you heard that correctly. 1 full year since he has won a singles match, and he continues to be in a tag team. We'll see how the Judgment Day goes. Could we see a split of Carlito has been removed from the equation? We now have Dom, Liv, and Raquel, seemingly with JD, Roxanne, and Finn. Could we see them come together and form this new Judgment Day 3.0, adding Roxanne, removing Carlito? Could we see the three of them finally get together? It would be 3 and 3, three women superstars, three men superstars. Could really run the Raw division there, but that is going left to be seen. Of course, with Finn and Liv being at odds, Liv not trusting Finn, seemingly without saying it. We know that's what she meant, as pictured earlier. And then, of course, that is left to be seen. Can JD and Finn get the tag titles back? They bring the tag titles back. Roxanne wins Money in the Bank. All is good. All the Judgment Day would have gold. Of course, we know Liv wants the world title back and wants it back soon. So that is left to be seen with what's going to happen in the Judgment Day. And I will say the Judgment Day locker room scenes, backstage segments do not feel the same without Carlito. He will be missed, as will Truth. There's Roxanne interfering, making sure that Balor and JD pick up the win there. Of course, beating the War Raiders. The New Day was on commentary, would eventually have gotten ejected by the ref there. And that brings us to Jey Uso and Sami Zayn against Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker. Seth Rollins would make his presence known and take out everyone. He certainly did. Then we would get a backstage segment with Gunther and Jay. Gunther basically telling Jay the same thing that Roman told him for 4 years now. It'll never be him because he's always going to put everyone ahead of him. He's being stretched way too thin. He's on this show. He's on that show. He's helping this person and these guys, and he's in tag matches. And he's being in tag matches on both shows, not defending his title, not focused on defending his title. We know the next title match for Jey Uso is going to be on Monday Night Raw next week on the 9th in Arizona against Gunther. Should we see Mr. Money in the Bank cash in on Saturday at Money in the Bank, and it would be Gunther versus somebody else? Could we see the Mr. Money in the Bank cash in on Cena? Could see Mr. Money in the Bank make his presence known during the match in Arizona? So much to figure out, so much to see, and I cannot wait. That would take us into the main event, which is the men's qualifying match for Money in the Bank, as El Grande Americano would pick up the win here and qualify. We now know that Chad Gable will be at Worlds Collide. El Grande Americano will be at Money in the Bank. 2 different people, 2 different events. Can't be in the same place at once. Can't be at both events, surely. Stephanie Vaquer is pulling double duty as well. She's at Worlds Collide in a tag match and also in Money in the Bank. El Grande Americano has the ladder match at Money in the Bank, while Chad Gable is in the AAA Mega Championship match that will main event Worlds Collide. And then, of course, after he would qualify and got his moment, Seth Rollins would make his presence known once again. Jey Uso out there. Braun Breaker was already taken out. CM Punk was out there. They got into it, and Seth Rollins took out everybody. And the closing shot of Monday Night Raw for June 2nd, the go-home show in front of 9,000 plus of the WWE Universe there in Tulsa, Oklahoma, saw this as the closing segment. And of course, something to note, over 11 years ago on June 2nd, June 3rd, June 2nd or 3rd of 20, whatever that was, Seth Rollins had joined with Triple H and Randy Orton, and it was a very similar shot to this one. So Seth Rollins has been doing this and running Monday Night Raw for over 11 years, and there's likely no one that's going to stop him in the near future, as we have this new trio with their wise man. Are they going to add a 4th member? Are they going to add 2 more members to get an even team for War Games? Is it going to be these 3, John Cena and Logan Paul, against the 3 pictured here on the mat, plus a Cody Rhodes and plus a Roman Reigns? That seems like a pretty good War Games matchup to me, if I do say so myself. I guess we'll have to find out more on that as we get closer and closer to after Money in the Bank. We go through Clash at Paris, Night of Champions, and then we are basically already on the road to SummerSlam. But that was the Monday Night Raw, the Friday Night SmackDown results for the last two shows, and we will have a preview for SmackDown coming this Friday. Of course, as you know, it's always going to be here at Sleeper Sports Media. This was episode 79 of the Sleeper Sports Media podcast. And also just want to mention here ways to support the channel, of course, will be to check out the Walmart storefront down below in the description and get your Prime, your W, Papa Tui, all of that good stuff. C4, any energy drink you can think of, and don't forget to keep the notifications on to make sure you don't miss the upcoming Money in the Bank preview coming soon, as we now have the full card ready, full participants in the ladder match. The rest of the card, I don't think they'll add another match this Friday, but rough preview. There's not that many matches, which has been the way that WWE has been going, of course, as we do know that. The men's ladder match, the women's ladder match, a women's Intercontinental Championship, and the tag match. Only 4 matches planned for the show. I could see them adding one more, maybe the tag titles for SmackDown. They already have 2 ladder matches. I don't think they would do a TLC match. I don't think they would do necessarily anything crazy while we already have 2 ladder matches on the way. And of course, Worlds Collide, I believe, has way more matches than that already booked. Let's see here. NXT, TNA is defending the TNA. Trick Williams is defending the TNA World Title against Mike Santana. Miles Bourne takes on Charlie Dempsey in a rounds match. We get Tyra May Steele makes her NXT debut, the LFG Season 1 winner, and that's on the show for NXT tonight. We also again have Worlds Collide coming up as well. A bunch of matches on there. LWO, Octagon Jr., Aerostar, and Mr. Iguana. 6-man tag action. We have El Hijo de Vikingo against Chad Gable, as I said, in the AAA Mega Championship match. Vikingo just won that. Don't see him dropping that anytime soon. So 2 matches, 3 matches, another 6-man tag. Oh, no way. There's got to be more than that. Again, Worlds Collide is at the Kia Forum, right across the parking lot. Stephanie Vaquer and Lola Vice team up to take on Dallas and Chick Tormenta in a women's tag match there. The Fatal 4-Way, Javon Evans, Ray Phoenix, Laredo Kid, and Ethan Page. And Legado del Fantasma against that tag match. So 5 matches on Worlds Collide. I can see them adding one more match this Friday on SmackDown to get an even 5 on Money in the Bank as well. And that is going to wrap up the weekend for TKO and a big-time takeover. We also do have UFC 316 as well on Saturday. Shout out to Apples and Grapes Media for mentioning that one. Go over to his channel for all coverage, all things UFC 316 over there. And of course, check out the Cash App link down below how that can get us both some money, get us both $15 there whenever you sign up using that code. The Walmart storefront, get your W, and other products as well there at Walmart. And this is going to be episode 79. Going to wrap this one up. Tune in tomorrow for another live wrapping up and recapping the WNBA through June 4th, as the Fever are playing back in action tonight, and they have a matchup with the Chicago Sky coming up in about a week. next week on next Friday. Hopefully, Caitlin Clark will be back. She was out for about 2 weeks, so I don't know if she'll be back in time. Other breaking news: All American was renewed for an eighth and final season, and more on that tomorrow as we dive into something new in the media, movies, and TV show portion of Sleeper Sports Media. More on that with episode 80 coming tomorrow, June 4th, as well as maybe another sneak peek of a full preview for Money in the Bank this Saturday, and then the rest of the month, laying out what we got going on the rest of the month for Sleeper Sports Media in correspondence. As always, with No Dirt Sheets and Purple Rain Candle Company. I'm Nick Wheatosh. Thank you for watching, viewing, and subscribing. Make sure to rewatch this, share it out, leave a like, and comment down below who you think will win Money in the Bank for both the men's and the women's. And as always, thank you for watching. Please subscribe. Help us we're on the road to 10,000 now after hitting 5,000 earlier in the year. We're on the road to 10K. And as always, trying to be more consistent, bringing you the best news there. Thank you again for Sleeper Sports Media. I'm Nick Wheatosh, and here we go.